Hey guys, so this video was actually really requested by you guys, and it's a depotting video. I had told you guys in a previous, in my April favorites actually, about the Z palettes that I was going to buy some more and depot a whole bunch of stuff, and I actually did. So I ended up buying, excuse me, 3 more Z palettes, and I depotted a whole bunch of stuff, and I recorded the majority of it. Of course, I am going to fast forward through it and everything and not show you guys everything bit by bit, but I did want to just show you how they ended up turning out, and of course I have pictures throughout and I explained stuff throughout and all that good junk, but I got rid of, as you can see from the pictures, so many loose items, so many single eyeshadows, so many like little trios and quads, so many loose blushes, and it just was a relief to get my collection down to almost, I say almost, fit in my clear cube. Even with the palettes, it takes up a little bit more room than I was hoping, and I still do have my vanity here with the drawer that I can utilize if I need to, but for right now I'm very happy with the way that it turned out. So the Z palettes, you can get them off of zpalette.com, but I actually ordered them off of beauty.com because I went through Ebates, and that way I could get cash back, and also they at the time were having a 20% off coupon. If I can find any coupons, I'll link it down below. I'm not affiliated with any of these companies. I just happen to have a sweet subscriber tweet me. I think she tweeted me, or she may have Facebooked me about this sale, and so I ended up buying them, and I bought 3 of them. I bought 2 of the large palettes and then 1 dome palette. So this dome palette has a bunch of my mineralized skin finishes and then mineralized blushes here, so I depotted all of those. And I don't, like I said, show you every single one in the video. I actually have a complete blush overview video that I will link up here somewhere if you're interested, and that video has like an overview of all the blushes that I had, drugstore, high-end palette blushes. That way you can get a better idea of what I depotted, but I do show a couple of them in this video. And then the hot pink palette, I have all drugstore and miscellaneous blushes, so anywhere from, like, these are Victoria's Secrets, this is an e.l.f. duo, Fox in a Box, and Maybelline, and an NYC blush, Wet n Wild. So I just depotted. I really didn't go by like colors or anything like that. I just went by whatever fit. So this is like my drugstore palette. The dome palette obviously has the mineralized blushes, and then this other large palette has all of my Tarte blushes. So these were super easy, as you can see in the video. They just pop right out. These are the Amazonian clay blushes, and then these are 4 mini blushes from the holiday set this past season, and as you can see, they fit in here nicely, and I like the fact that I could keep all my Tarte blushes together. And then I ran out of Z palettes, which I want to buy at least 1 more because I have a couple more palettes, like a few NARS palettes and a couple of Stila palettes that I want to combine into one. So we'll see how that goes, but so I do need 1 more. But I did go ahead and utilize a MAC palette, and I put drugstore and random eyeshadows in here, so I labeled it so I would know. And this has like Wet n Wild. It has 4 Wet n Wild trios. It has 3 e.l.f. blushes, an Essence blush, an Ulta blush, and then a random palette that I have here. So pretty much neutrals besides the blue and the purple here, but it's a great palette just to have, like, again, neutrals if you're just not interested in like taking your naked palette or something like this. You know, this would be very helpful because it has like the Walking on Eggshells palette and stuff like that from Wet n Wild. And then I put the stickers up here so I know what the palettes would be. It's a fairly easy process, I have to say. I've gotten good over it. I'm good at it over the years. Definitely YouTubed a bunch of information, but if you're interested in seeing my technique to depot these blushes and eyeshadows, just stay tuned. Okay, so starting off to depot, you need a few things. First off, you need some aluminum foil. Any kind of foil will work. I just used like the cheapest brand because you just pretty much waste it. Of course, you need a flat iron. Now this is the method where you use heat. So if you prefer not to use heat, then I don't know, YouTube that, because I don't know how to do it without heat. I use heat for the majority of my products. It's just easier for me. So an old flat iron. You will need some rubbing alcohol if you have glue stuck on the back of the pan once you depot it. Just with a napkin or something. Magnets are optional just because a lot of the pans already come magnetized. These particular ones came with my Z palette. They're just round ones already, but any type of magnet will work. This is a strip magnet that you can get from Hobby Lobby or Michael's that you cut it. And then I also have a sheet magnet here that you can cut it into whatever shape you want, and then square magnets here, and this came from Hobby Lobby. So it's really just up to you which one you like and what's just preferable for you. An X-Acto knife is really good. You can get this at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, any craft store really. It's very sharp, so be careful. It does come with replacement blades, but this is going to be to get the actual pan out of the pot. So if you don't have an X-Acto knife, any type of nail kit will work. I usually use the file that has a pointy edge here. Mine's kind of all tweak and bent because I have used it several times. Tweezers work. Sometimes this like nail picker will work too, but usually this nail file works the best. So this is like $1 at H-E-B, and it's convenient. This is also optional. This is from Office Depot. They're removable labels. You don't have to have these, but they certainly come in handy. I have one that's circle and one that's a like long rectangle, and you can write on these. They are removable, and they come out like this when you put them on your pan. So like here I just wrote MAC powder blushes, so I know that's what's inside of them, and there are my MAC powder blushes. That way it's just easy, especially with the MAC palettes, it's easy to tell what's on the outside. But of course these are completely optional. Now you will need, of course, a like some sort of palette to put everything in. MAC palettes work great, but I have found that these Z palettes have been like my go-to lately. I really enjoy these. I feel like they are very versatile. So I ordered a bunch of these from beauty.com, and I got an amazing deal on them. So as you guys saw in the beginning of the video, I'm going to show you how I fill these, how I depot everything, and I like them because they're great. They have a clear case and they're pretty sturdy. These are the new ones that I ordered, but I also have a couple that I have already depotted a bunch of stuff in. These were previous ones. These are e.l.f. $3 studio blushes, and then this is a bunch of drugstore palettes here. And then last but not least, of course, you need the makeup that you plan on depotting. This is just, I plan on trying to get this into 3 Z palettes and maybe a MAC palette. I'm not sure if it's going to work out or not, but I'm going to try my hardest because I'm trying to clear out all my makeup. I also forgot to mention I have some smaller palettes if you don't want to go as big. This is a smaller Z palette. It doesn't hold as many. It holds about 9 MAC eyeshadows, so you can't fit as much as you can as in a large palette, but it definitely comes in handy for traveling. And then this is a MAC 4-pan palette. I think it's like $5 at the MAC store. And then of course you can get the MAC palettes. I think these are like $15, and they come with 15 areas for eyeshadow, but I have pulled that little thing out, and now it just has the magnetic board in the back, so you can put whatever you want in it. So what I like to use the foil for is to get a pretty big slice to put over my work area, so that way in case I happen to spill anything, I don't make a mess all over where I'm working. And also it's nice to put your heat on it because it won't transfer through the aluminum foil and it won't ruin whatever you're working on. Okay, so let's start off with something simple. These Tarte blushes are probably the easiest things I've ever seen to depot because lucky us, they actually come with this tiny hole in the back where you can just stick a pin in it and it actually will pop out the pan. So that's great because they are already magnetized and you can put them in a palette. So I'm going to do that real quick because I want to see how many will fit in a palette so that I know how many more I can depot. See, now once you peeled off that sticker, you have your blush that's depotted and the sticker that can go on the back, and these blushes are automatically, they come magnetized. So all you have to do is stick them in here just like that, and they don't fall out. So I'm going to do the rest of these and see how many I can fit in here so that I know if I can depot the baby ones or not. And it's up to you whether you want to keep the container. I personally like having my blushes depotted because it saves less room, so I don't plan on keeping the container, but you definitely can if you wish to travel with it again. This is a great, you know, just pop in the blush and go. Okay, so as you can see, 4 Tarte blushes fit perfectly across, so you could actually fit 8 in here total, but I have the little mini holiday collection, so I'm going to try and fit the 4 of these over here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I think really the max I'm going to be able to do is 3. So I'm going to do the 3 colored ones since these are all blushes, and I'm going to save this one for last, and if it fits, I'll depot it. If I can't, I'll leave it with my highlights. Okay, so for these are the baby Tarte blushes. They are not magnetic, so because they don't automatically pop out, you do need to apply some heat to it. The X-Acto knife is great because it actually just lifts the sticker. You just have to lift the edge of it a little bit, and then you can actually peel it right off. It just needs a little bit of heat. But because you only need a little bit of heat to peel the sticker, at this point you want to put it back on the heat for like 30-45 seconds so that the blush pops right out. Just be careful because it is extremely hot because it's metal and you're heating it up. You can get rid of the packaging. Once it's cooled down a little bit, you're actually going to stick one of your magnets on the back. I recommend putting the magnet first because the sticker is clear. That way, if you have the magnet first, you put the sticker over it, you can still have the magnetized effect, but you can see the name of it as well. So as you can see here, I'm just putting the sticker. It fits perfectly on the back of the blush. Smooth that out, and then there you have your blush with your magnet and sticker, and you are good to go. So they all actually ended up fitting, which is great. I only had that one accident right there with this one where it kind of fell out a little bit, but the blush still looks perfectly fine. It doesn't, I can tip it over and shake it and it's still intact, so I think it'll be okay. If at any point I have issues with it, I'll just chunk it, but they actually all fit in here. This was probably the easiest depotting that I had, but it was the biggest because as you can see, I went from 9 little individual containers to 1 Z palette, so that was pretty cool. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing with the rest of my makeup. I'm going to show you maybe when I do like a domed product like this, and show you guys how I do that and put it in the Z palette because I did buy a dome Z palette. But other than that, it's fairly simple. You can kind of Google or YouTube specific products if you need to learn how to depot them. These Tarte blushes were really easy. I wish all products were like that. In my opinion, they should be, but whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and depot some more stuff and I will show you guys the finished product. One thing I did want to mention on like MAC products and products, a bunch of products actually have it like this. Some of them have a little space in between the eyeshadow and the actual pot where you have to kind of pop this out. So this is where like this tool would come in handy. All you would do is just kind of wedge it in there carefully. You want to be careful. Once it's wedged in there, you just push up and the actual product pops right out. Just like that. So this, obviously with MAC, and I know you guys have seen this several times, can be back to MAC. All you do is take the empty pot once you've taken the actual eyeshadow out of it, you pop it back in here, and this whole thing can be back to MAC so that you can get a free item once you get 6 of them. And then you actually put this on the heat so that it can be popped out and then depotted into your MAC eyeshadow palette. Okay, now for an MSF, it's pretty much the same thing. This is my MAC MSF Petty in Petticoat. It was a limited edition, but honestly, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's not like it's in limited edition packaging or anything. It's just a basic MSF, so I'm going to depot it. This one, it has the thing where you can actually pop out the top, but it's a little bit harder to get to. So pretty much what you have to do is you have to dig on the side of it until you can get in there. Once you get in there, you can see my little nail file stuck. You kind of move your knife or whatever you're using around the edge and it pops right out. That's the easiest way that I found that it actually comes out. And then you do the exact same thing with this. You're going to put this on the hot, on the flat iron, let it sit there for a few seconds, and then you're going to pop it out just like a normal blush would. And then same thing with the container. You take this off and recycle the container. Once you start to lift it a little bit, I only left it on there for a few seconds, just be gentle because these tend to have more glue on the back of them, as you can see here. It's a lot thicker glue, but then this is, I'm not sure if it's clay or what it is, but it'll say like made in Italy since whatever year and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. And if you prefer to have this like rustic look to it, you definitely can, but the glue doesn't come off of this clay very easily. So I put a magnet over it and then just put it in there like that. But then this pops right back in here and you can shut the container and recycle it. So I'm just going to take the little sticker off of it and put it on the back of this. And once you have that, you have your depotted blush, and you can take your Z palette and pop it right in. So that's pretty much it. As you can see, I'm going to try and depot 1 or 2 more blushes and see if they'll fit in here. I think 6 MSFs would fit really nicely in here. It does leave you with a little bit of space on the side, but if, you know, it's definitely more compact than having 6 MSFs out at the same time. So I'm just going to do, these were e.l.f. blushes right here, and then this was a hard candy blush. And it closes nicely.